Yet along that very boundary, a different South Korea quietly endures, one that is beautiful, majestic, and deeply rooted in traditional cultural identity. Jagged stone mountains rise like blades thrust straight into the blue sky. Winter snow settles across mountain slopes and grasslands, transforming the border region into a mysterious world of ice and silence. Grand ancient palaces stand alongside humble villages clinging to mountain slopes. Culture, belief, and communal life are shaped by the terrain and the climate and the memories of a land that has long stood at the edge of historical upheaval. The journey through northern Korea begins at Namsan Mountain Park, one of the most iconic mountains in the region. The terrain rises gradually along the paths, with gentle lower slopes and steeper inclines at mid-elevation. Broadleaf and coniferous forests interweave with straight trunks and high canopies, forming a sequence of open spaces between layered vegetation. From higher ground, the city of Seoul appears like a vast checkerboard veiled in morning mist. Gnarled pine branches carry thick layers of snow, standing in contrast to the solid presence of the ancient Namsan fortress wall winding around the mountain. At Namsan Mountain Park, you can follow winding hillside trails and pause at rocky outcrops to observe the surrounding terrain. The two most noticeable animal species you are likely to encounter are forest squirrels and magpies. Forest squirrels are commonly found in coniferous and mixed forests along the slopes of Namsan. You will often see squirrels moving swiftly between tree trunks, rarely descending to the ground and maintaining a clear distance from people. Magpies are easily recognized by their distinct black and white plumage, loud calls, and pair-bonded social behavior. They build nests high in the branches using dry twigs, leaves, and plant fibers collected from the forest. The stable presence of forest squirrels and magpies reflects the ability of Namsan Mountain Park to sustain a balanced natural habitat within an urban green space. Gyeongbokgung Palace stands with quiet authority at the heart of Seoul's central ceremonial axis, backed by Bugaksan Mountain. It is the largest royal palace of the Joseon dynasty, formed according to a geomantic architectural system described as resting against the mountains and facing the river. The architecture of Gyeongbokgung Palace leaves a strong impression through its balance and clarity. Gently curved, tiled roofs rest on solid wooden frameworks, while columns painted in restrained tones maintain a stable overall palette. Decoration within the palace is distinguished by the precision of dancheong patterns applied to beams, brackets, and roof structures. Looking upward, you can see layers of blue, red, and yellow crafted with great care and arranged according to strict visual rules. During Lunar New Year, Gyeongbokgung Palace becomes the setting for many lively and distinctive community events held at scheduled times. The New Year greeting ceremony takes place in the main courtyard, featuring ritual offerings and the ceremonial beating of drums to mark the beginning of spring. This is followed by outstanding artistic performances by court music ensembles and traditional dance groups. Afterward, you can visit Lunar New Year exhibition areas that introduce ceremonial offering trays, traditional attire, and everyday objects used during the first days of the year. Leaving the grandeur of Gyeongbokgung Palace behind, you walk uphill along narrow, winding slopes. The rattling sound of tourist rickshaw wheels blends with winter winds slipping through wooden door frames. Before long, Bukchon Hanok village comes into view. This is a long-established residential area that still breathes everyday life, nestled between two of Seoul's major palaces, Gyeongbokgung and Changdeokgung. Bukchon was once home to the ruling elite of the Joseon period, and that legacy remains clearly visible in its architectural structure. Hanok houses are built to follow the sloping terrain, with small inner courtyards, low wooden verandas, and layered tiled roofs. The houses are not imposing, but they are compact and discreet, reflecting a way of life that values family order and personal privacy. After exploring Bukchon Hanok village, you begin to understand that its special value lies in the unbroken continuity of community life. Residents still live in and care for these historic homes as part of their daily routine. Stop by a small tea house in the village, sip a cup of hot tea, and clearly feel the slow and welcoming rhythm of life shared by the people who live here. As a restored grassland ecosystem reclaimed from a former landfill, Hanol Park stands as a symbol of green rebirth in the heart of Seoul. Hanol Park is part of the World Cup Park complex and was built on the site of the former Nanjido landfill. Completed and opened in the year 2002. The park covers an area of approximately 580,000 square meters and sits at an elevation of nearly 100 meters above sea level. Before you stretch vast fields of silver grass. The grass here has slender stalks that rise to chest height on an adult, swaying constantly in the wind. By late autumn, the entire park turns pale gold and silvery white. You can walk along wooden paths that cut through the grassland, and then choose a higher viewpoint to take in the Han River and the city of Seoul, glowing across the landscape below. At Hanol Park, you may encounter the eastern spot-billed duck, a rare waterfowl species. These ducks primarily inhabit shallow wetlands and regulating ponds around the park. They are often seen gliding slowly across the water, feeding on aquatic plants, grass seeds, and small organisms. As you step into Korean Folk Village, you immediately sense a clear contrast with Hanol Park. Korean Folk Village is located in Yongin, south of Seoul, and was inaugurated in the year 1974 as a complex dedicated to recreating traditional Korean life. The village covers an area of more than 240 hectares and includes hundreds of restored traditional houses relocated from different regions across the Korean peninsula. In winter, mist settles thickly over the ground and rooftops, making the village feel like a place drawn from a folk tale rather than reality. Korean folk village is at its most vivid and lively during the Lunar New Year celebrations each year. From early morning, ANA staff members open the village gates, sweep the earthen paths, adjust wooden fences, and inspect the straw roofs on each house. Inside the traditional homes, wooden tables are placed against the walls to display New Year offerings. Ceramic bowls are wiped dry, and tablecloths are folded with care. You can register for scheduled rice cake making workshops and try on traditional clothing in the experience zones. Do not miss the Nongak Farmers Dance, one of the most distinctive performances in the village. Performers wear hats adorned with long white ribbons, spinning their heads to form endless circles, a traditional ritual meant to drive away misfortune and pray for a peaceful and abundant new year. Hwasong Fortress leaves a powerful impression through its defensive architecture, shaped by discipline, rational thinking, and a strong spirit of reform in historical Korea. Hwasong Fortress is located in the city of Suwon and was constructed between the years 1794 and 1796 during the reign of King Jongjo of the Joseon dynasty. The entire fortress system has a total length of approximately 5.74 kilometers, encircling the historic core of Suwon. The complex includes 4 main gates facing the 4 cardinal directions, along with numerous auxiliary structures such as watchtowers, artillery platforms, hidden gates, and observation pavilions. The walls are built from stone and brick, with height and thickness adjusted flexibly to match the surrounding terrain. Rather than following rigid straight lines, the walls curve naturally along hillsides and open plains. Watchtowers and command pavilions are positioned at points with wide visibility, allowing for active observation and control of the surrounding landscape. After exploring the main historical sections, you should walk along the top of the walls in the late afternoon and watch the sunset stretch across the aged stone and brick surfaces. This experience helps you understand that Hwaseong Fortress is not merely a military structure, but an architectural statement of order, reform, and long-term vision from an entire dynasty. Seoraksan National Park brings a powerful and overwhelming atmosphere to your journey. A grand panorama unfolds with jagged peaks resembling stone blades piercing the winter sky. Seoraksan National Park is located in Gangwon Province, in northeastern South Korea. It was established in the year 1970 and covers an area of approximately 398 square kilometers. The region consists of ancient granite mountain ranges, narrow valleys, steep streams, and forests layered clearly by elevation. The highest summit in Seoraksan National Park is Daechungbong Peak, reaching an elevation of approximately 1,708 meters above sea level. Clear mountain streams flow out from rock crevices, and with many sections partially frozen along the edges during winter. You can hike along the main trail routes to experience the sharp mountain ridgelines in full, or take the cable car to observe the landscape from above. In Seoraksan National Park, you may encounter two rare animal species, the Korean goral and the Siberian musk deer. The Korean goral lives primarily on steep rocky slopes and exposed cliff faces. It has a medium-sized body, short but powerful legs, and split hooves that provide excellent grip on slippery rock surfaces. The Siberian musk deer lives more discreetly in dense forests and valleys with thick vegetation. Its body is small and antlerless, with strong hind legs adapted for fast movement on steep terrain. The Siberian musk deer feeds mainly at night, consuming leaves, lichens, and forest grasses. You rarely see them directly, but their footprints and claw marks on tree trunks can often be found along forest paths. The vehicle climbs the winding Manhangje mountain pass, rising to an elevation of more than 1,300 meters. After stepping out, you walk through thick layers of snow to reach Daegwallyeong Sheep Farm, one of the largest and oldest sheep farms in South Korea. Daegwallyeong Sheep Farm is located on the Daegwallyeong Plateau in Pyeongchang County of Gangwon Province, at an average elevation ranging from 800 to 1,000 meters above sea level. The farm was established in the late 1980 decade and covers an area of approximately 190 hectares. Small wooden cabins stand scattered across the hills, while long grey wooden fences trace the slopes, forming a peaceful landscape reminiscent of the European countryside. The climate here remains cool throughout the year, with long winters, strong winds, and frequent snowfall, creating ideal conditions for raising sheep on wide open grasslands. In winter, snow blankets the pastures, transforming the entire farm into a hidden land of ice and white silence. Sheep appear in large groups, their thick wool coats colored white or pale cream. You can clearly see their hoof prints pressed into the snow as they move across the fields. Walking through a world entirely covered in snow while watching flocks of sheep calmly grazing, you feel the worries of urban life fade away, leaving only stillness and the steady breath of highland nature. The vehicle winds along steep mountain passes, descending from the highlands into the Jongseon Valley. Through the window, you catch sight of pale blue kitchen smoke drifting gently from the straw-thatched roofs of rustic houses. You have arrived at Jongseon-arari village, a humble settlement nestled among mountains, where dark brown wooden houses rest quietly at the foot of forested slopes. The village is located in Jongseon County, Gangwon Province, a mountainous region known for its high elevation and cold climate. Jongseon-arari village is planned as a conservation and revival space for traditional life connected to Jongseon-arirang folk songs, an important, intangible cultural heritage of South Korea. The entire village spreads across dozens of hectares, including clusters of traditional wooden houses, communal activity yards, and spaces for folk performances. The dark brown wooden houses are built low to the ground, with steep roofs and thick walls, well suited to mountainous terrain and harsh weather conditions. Buildings do not stand apart from the landscape, but cling closely to the hillsides, leaning against the mountains and facing just enough open space for daily life. Each year, Jongseon-arari village welcomes hundreds of thousands of visitors, especially in autumn and winter, when the surrounding mountain scenery appears at its most striking and dramatic. Try to wake early and walk around the village in the morning, watching thin layers of mist linger on wooden roofs and stone steps. Attend a traditional folk song performance to feel how culture lives alongside nature and mountain landscapes in Jongseon-arari village. Located in the center of Jongseon County, Gangwon Province, Jongseon 5-day market carries a lively and bustling trading atmosphere, standing in sharp contrast to the quiet and tranquil Jongseon Arari village. The market was formed in the early 20th century and developed alongside highland agricultural exchange routes. Its space stretches along the main road and surrounding narrow alleys, with hundreds of temporary and permanent stalls arranged closely together. Jongseon 5-day market operates on a 5-day cycle, typically held on the 2nd, 7th, 12th, 17th, 22nd, and 27th days of each month. Each market day attracts thousands of local residents from surrounding mountain villages, along with domestic visitors, and becomes especially crowded during harvest season. Today, Jongseon 5-day market is considered one of the most representative traditional periodic markets in the mountainous regions of South Korea. The atmosphere becomes most vibrant and hurried in the days leading up to Lunar New Year. Bright red lanterns are hung along the main walkways, while additional side paths are open to accommodate the surge in shopping demand from both locals and visitors. Beyond trading activities, the market management also sets up small stages where local performers present traditional art performances throughout the day. If you want to experience the Lunar New Year atmosphere at Jongseon 5-day market, I arrive early in the morning to observe the preparation process and the careful selection of holiday ingredients. Afterward, stop at a small food stall in the middle of the market to enjoy rice cakes and hot soup while watching traditional performances unfold around you. Dumulmeori makes you feel as if you are standing inside a living ink wash painting. The river surface lies perfectly still, like a vast mirror, reflecting hazy mountain silhouettes. Dumulmeori is located in Yangpyeong County, Gyeonggi Province. This area marks the confluence of the Bukhan River and the Namhan River, the two main branches that merge to form the Han River. Dumulmeori does not cover a large area. The landscape consists mainly of riverside alluvial flats, narrow walking paths, rows of waterside trees, and traditional lotus fields. The water flow at this confluence is slow, especially during the dry season, when water levels remain stable and the river surface appears noticeably wider. At the meeting point, and the two tones of water from the Bukhan River and the Namhan River sit side by side for a short distance before fully blending together. In the early morning, a layer of mist hangs low above the river, gradually dissolving as the sunrise climbs higher. Old wooden boats rest silently in the morning fog, creating a scene that feels quiet yet deeply cinematic. Standing beneath pine trees and watching the river flow without pause, you begin to understand the value of still moments amid the rush of everyday life. It is no exaggeration to describe the Garden of Morning Calm as a work of art shaped by both nature and human hands. The Garden of Morning Calm is located in Gapyeong County, Gyeonggi Province. The garden covers an area of approximately 330,000 square meters and was established in 1996. The garden lies within a low valley surrounded by gentle mountain slopes. The space is organized into multiple themed gardens with pathways, plant systems, and landscape compositions carefully maintained throughout the year. If you visit during winter, you will witness some of the most breathtaking moments at the Garden of Morning Calm. During this season, a large-scale light festival takes place across the garden. Millions of artistic light emitting diode bulbs are used to illuminate trees, fences, and the surrounding terrain. Warm golden tones, deep blue, green, and soft violet lights are arranged deliberately side by side, forming one of the most remarkable outdoor light installations in South Korea. You can walk up to higher viewpoints to observe the entire valley shimmering with light against a dreamlike backdrop of white snow. In the freezing cold, people use light to warm the space, igniting a quiet belief in enduring beauty even under the harshest conditions. sound of a ferry horn echoes across Cheongpyeong Lake. Ice cracks softly along the hull as the ferry cuts through the water, carrying visitors toward Nami Island, an island located on the Han River in Chuncheon County, Gangwon Province, approximately 63 kilometers northeast of Seoul. The island covers an area of roughly 460,000 square meters. It was formed after the completion of the Cheongpyeong Dam in the middle of the 20th century, when rising water levels separated this landmass from the mainland. On Nami Island, rows of coniferous trees are planted in straight lines, stretching from the riverbank deep into the interior of the island. The metasequoia trees stand tall with narrow canopies and upright trunks. Beside them are birch trees with bright white bark and smooth surfaces grow straight and parallel, forming airy and open walking paths. In winter, Nami Island reveals a world of minimalism. The long paths seem endless, defined by only two colors, the brown of tree trunks and the pure white of snow. As you walk beneath the perfectly aligned rows of trees in the silence of falling snow, you become aware of every breath you take, merging quietly with the winter winds of Nami Island. Paju City is a unique cultural city located in Paju City, Gyeonggi Province, built on former wetland terrain. Construction began in the late 1990 decade, and Paju City became a core part of a specialized national planning project dedicated to the South Korean publishing industry. The area covers more than 150 hectares and brings together over 200 publishing houses, printing workshops, design studios, libraries, and research spaces. Buildings here feature clear geometric forms and flat facades, constructed primarily from concrete, glass, and steel, using neutral colors and decisive lines. This is not a conventional mixed-use city, but a focused working environment where architecture functions as a tool to support thought, concentration, and creative discipline. You may pause at a small cafe, beside a library, and observe publishing professionals carrying manuscripts and sample books. Experiences in Paju Book City reveal an ideal model of a city dedicated to knowledge, where architecture directly serves the intellectual and spiritual life of human beings.